Mr. Mayor, at 7 o'clock.
Sorry, the pledge and the implication. It's on you tonight.
What's this? Why'd you give me this?
Pledge allegiance.
Yeah, I can do pledge allegiance.
Okay. All right. Everybody ready? Everybody here? Good. I'd like to call the public hearing to order to receive correspondence and comments on ordinance 2206. Is there anybody here to speak on that ordinance, 2206? Rodney, is that the one you sent me an email about? No. Okay, thank you, sir. All right. Anybody here to talk about 2206? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing for 2206, and I'm going to call the regular Irmo council meeting to order. And I'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Councilman Eric Sickinger. Will you please rise? Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, pray that we make good decisions tonight in the best interest of the town, and that you keep our residents and the police safe. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, I'd like to continue our meeting with the reading of the minutes. We have received the minutes electronically from Mr. Dennis and the minutes for March 15, 2022. Are there any changes to the minutes? Seeing none, we have a motion for acceptance.
So moved.
A second.
Motion and second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, the minutes for April 5th, 2022, as we received those electronically also. Are there any changes to those minutes? I hear a motion for acceptance.
So moved.
A
Is there
second.
a second? A second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Minutes have been approved. Thank you so much. Report of standing, administrative briefing. Mr. Dennis, do you have any changes for us on the administrative briefing? Do we have any changes for Mr. Dennis on the administrative briefing? Anybody have any changes for that? Okay. Thank you. New in-town businesses. Do we have any new in-town businesses, Mr. Sickinger?
Yes, we do, Mr. Mayor. Newly registered businesses in town paying their business license fees, and this is our little give back. Mingo's Cookies, am I saying that right? Mingo's. Artisan Logistics, and 365 Dispatch Services.
Okay. Do we have any samples of Mingo's cookies?
Not yet.
We didn't get no samples? I mean, that's how we let them in town and do businesses.
I'll make a couple of calls, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, make sure they know that next time. Yeah. Thank you. Amendments agenda. Are there any amendments agenda? Seeing none. Consideration of communications. Will y'all meet me down front here so we can recognize our business of the month? Thank you. Every month there's Junior, come on up. Every month we have an opportunity to recognize a small business in Irmo. And this month we are privileged and honored to recognize a longtime business owner, Junior. Congratulations. This is a small token of our appreciation for South Carolina Golden Pond. You're the proprietor of that. And in recognition of being a small business of the month for the town of Irmo for April 2022. Here you go. Thank you, sir. You want to say a few things about your business?
I appreciate everybody and all the support and everything of Irmo, and just a great town to work in. And once again, thank you for the support and everything. So if anything I can ever help anybody with, please stop in and see me. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Bye. Thank you. Anything else? All right. Come on. Yeah, I'll do it up here. Thank you all. We have a Dr. Aaron Doty from the principal of Crossroads. Hey, Doc, how you doing? You're the principal of the Crossroads Intermediate School,
That is correct.
and that's grade 6?
Grade 6.
Okay. I'm trying to recall exactly what it is. Anyway, thank you for coming to our meeting tonight. Dr. Wallman invited you, and we want to hear about Crossroads Intermediate School.
Awesome. Thank you all for having me. Thanks. I appreciate it. As you mentioned, Crossroads is a 6th grade only school, so it's a unique situation. Our job and our task is to bridge that elementary to middle school experience. So that's what makes us an intermediate school. So I'm going to share some things with you for a few minutes about what we do to help kids make connections, because that's our big focus. We always say Crossroads connects, because not only do we connect kids from elementary school to middle school, we connect them to each other, to their teachers, to their future. So I'm going to do that through some pictures that I've put together for you, because I think pictures can tell a story better than my words can. So I don't know who I'm looking at for the controlling. Okay, perfect. Go ahead. So as I mentioned to you before, connection is our focus. This is the wall in the center of our school. Our goal at Crossroads is to connect kids in all of these ways. So in speaking of academics, some of the things you're going to see on in our school, if you were to come visit, is kids making connections across content areas. You can see them coding robots in social studies to make connections between those STEM skills and what they're learning about our world, doing research, hands-on experiences in science. You can go ahead. Looking and exploring how things come together, how they work. Lots of collaboration, that's really our focus, getting kids working together, talking, communicating. We focus a lot on literacy. I have a literacy background, that's my dream and passion. So we do a lot with literacy. We had our kids participate in the Read Marathon earlier this year, where they had a competition who could read the most pages in a short amount of time. We focus on Read Across America Week and different ways we can infuse literacy into our school, dress-up days, and independent reading time, all things that focus on really jumping in with a great book. We have phenomenal visual and performing arts. For our kids, this is the first year. 6th grade is the first year they get to participate in a lot of different electives and choose a lot of different electives. We've got the first year for a lot of them that they pick up a band instrument. So we're teaching them how to read music and play instruments. We've got a great orchestra. We have a strong chorus program. We also have a great art. And this year we added drama for the first time. We're really working to grow that performing arts department, because our students feed into Irmo High School and they have a magnet for performing arts, and so that's one of our goals. We refer to those electives that they get to choose as exploratories, because our goal is to allow them to explore so many different things and find out what they're interested in so they can choose those courses as they get older. So you'll see them doing all kinds of different activities in PE, getting to try things they've never done before, things they didn't get to do in elementary school. We also offer a STEM class, leadership class. There's some pictures there from our Spanish exploration class where they learn a little bit about the language, but they also learn about the culture. You can see we brought in their Rapus truck to celebrate the end of the semester and give the kids an opportunity to explore the culture a little bit more. We're also very proud of some of the things that our students and teachers have accomplished this year. I could go on and on forever about those things, but I picked just a few to highlight. You can see on this screen some of the things that our students have done and received accolades for. We've got a student who participated in the oratorical contest earlier this year. That was something she did on her own outside of school and was recognized for. We had students win in the Swamp Fest art competition. We had a first place winner and several honorable mentions. And we have a student who recently, just last week, his father emailed this to me, was the only middle school student to be invited to present at the SCJAS competition and received honorable mention for that, for his science fair project. Our current Teacher of the Year was just named an honor roll teacher and is therefore one of the finalists for District Teacher of the Year, which we'll find out the winner on May 2nd. And so those are some pictures of her from this year. She's representing us well so far. one of the things we like to do at Crossroads is celebrate. And so you'll see pictures here of some of our celebrations. Every Friday, we do positive office referrals. So teachers get the opportunity to refer kids for positive reasons to the office, and then we recognize them. And you can see some of the pictures of that. We quarterly celebrate students' positive behavior. They can earn opportunities to participate in Fall Festival, Winter Fest. We just had Spring Fling right before spring break. This is from Fall Fest, where they get to play games, hang out, eat snacks. This was Spring Fling right before spring break. We got to go outside because the weather was beautiful. And we also focus on our community. So serving others, we have 2 great organizations that do that. Our Beta Club is our service organization. They focus on service and leadership, and you can see some of the things they've done. A food drive for Harvest Hope. They did a Veterans Day program for us, getting ready to do a school cleanup day in a couple of weeks. We also have a strong student council. They did a sock drive earlier this year, collected over 400 pairs of socks for the Transitions Homeless Center. So we really work on getting kids involved in that way. We have a strong school counseling department that not only counsels kids and supports them in so many ways, they also promote school-wide activities like Unity Day and Red Ribbon Week and things like that to bring our school together and make those kinds of connections. As I mentioned before, we do like a good dress-up day at Crossroads, and you can see the staff enjoys it as much as the kids. Whenever we get the chance, we will have a dress-up day or a dress-up week just to continue those connections that I was talking about before. And we try whenever we can to bring the community into the building. We've done High Five Fridays. We bring in student organizations. We bring in community members. We've had some great community support in providing treats for our teachers. Radius Church has brought the coffee truck out several times. We're very blessed in that way. And we had an excellent career fair about a month ago, maybe. We had over 40 members of our community come in and speak to our students about their career choices and options for the future. So lastly, I would just leave you with this idea that one of the things Crossroads focuses on is that concept of team building, getting our kids together, whether it's through a class like you're seeing here on this screen, opportunities to connect and to work together, or whether it is just through the fun of the day. Our goal is to make those connections and help our kids be ready when they leave us for 7th grade. That's it. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Appreciate y'all having us.
Thank you. All right. I didn't see you playing Irmo Monopoly. You don't have those games? Do you need one?
We don't have one.
Well, I'll have to get you one. Okay.
I've got a quick question. Very impressed with what you've got going on there, but did I hear you say you have positive affirmation and you call kids to the principal's office
Yeah,
out of
we
class?
call positive office referrals. Mm-hmm.
Do they know that when you call them?
No, not always. Sometimes they don't know why they're being called.
Because in my day, that was not a good
We
thing.
actually call them to the
not a
media
good thing.
center, so
So-
it's not quite as overwhelming, but they don't always know why they're coming.
I think that's great. I really do. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, I appreciate it.
Good point. I have a proclamation to read. It's, as you know, April is Fair Housing Month, and back in 1968, President Lyndon Johnson signed the Fair Housing Bill into law. And I wanted to reiterate that Irmo is a town where we promote fair housing, and I wanted to make this proclamation public to everybody who is looking to relocate to Irmo. We pride ourselves on what we have here to offer, as well as the quality of homes, as well as the different diversity in the neighborhoods, the different price points in our neighborhoods, and most importantly, the fact that we do things together as a community. But I'm going to read the proclamation to you. It'll be on file at Town Hall if anybody is wondering where we stand. And it reads as such: whereas April 2022 marks the 54th anniversary of the passage of the Fair Housing Act, Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended, and whereas the landlord legislation ensures fair housing becomes a reality by prohibiting discrimination in the sale, rental, or financing of housing based on race, color, religion, sex, handicap, familial status, and national origin. And whereas housing is one of the most fundamental human needs, second to food and water, and whereas precarious housing interrupts children's success and access to education and employment retention and adversely impacts mental and physical health. And whereas the town of Irmo supports the elimination of housing discrimination and further dissent safe and affordable housing. And what now I therefore, Barry A. Walker, the mayor of Irmo, do hereby proclaim the month of April in the town of Irmo as Fair Housing Month throughout the town, and call this observance and attention to all of our citizens. In witness therefore, I set my hand unto this the 19th day of April, 2022. Again, this will be on file. If anybody would like to have a copy of it, we'll have it on file for you to get a copy of it. Thank you. Moving right along, Dr. Wallman, you have anybody from the International Festival, or you just want to talk?
I was just going to talk. I just wanted to remind council and everyone in attendance tonight and everyone watching the live stream of tonight's meeting that the Irmo International Festival will be held on Sunday, April 24th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the Community Park of Irmo. There is a community art project going on right now in the park. It is a rangoli that is being created. Rangoli is an Indian art on the ground made with organic materials, colored rice, pasta, corn, bark, flowers, coffee grounds, leaves, etc. Work on the rangoli actually began yesterday and will take place in the park each day this week. Everyone is invited to come to the park at 5 p.m. in the afternoon to be a part of the very large and beautiful art form. On the day of the festival, everyone can help finish the rangoli. Supplies will be provided, but feel free to bring your own, bring anything that you would like to add to the rangoli. Once it's completed, it will be left for the wildlife to enjoy. So don't forget, the Irmo International Festival on Sunday, April 24th. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wallman. Also, I'd like to remind folks that Irmo was having their first Crawfish Festival on Saturday, the 23rd at 10 o'clock over at Louisiana Purchase on the Murraywood Shopping Center. Now, if you don't know what crawfish are, they're like little baby lobsters, and you get to boil them and eat them with spicy seasonings and corn and potatoes and stuff. It's a fun little time, but this is our first edition of that. That's on Saturday at 10 o'clock at Louisiana Purchase. Anything else? Miss anything from anybody? Anybody else has anything? Great. Moving right along then, presentation by citizens on agenda items. Anybody here to speak to us about anything on our agenda that you want, who didn't sign up for it? Do you have any comments? If not, I don't see anybody standing up wanting to yell at us about something, so I'm going to move right along. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't see that.
That's all right.
I apologize. Consideration of communications again, sorry. Miss Kimber Carpenter is our new artist in residence. Is she here? No?
Mr. Mayor, we just added this slide to demonstrate the Artist of the Month that is in the front lobby of Town Hall.
Oh, okay.
Miss Kimber Carpenter, her art is now on display.
Fantastic. And if you come to the town hall in our town hall building and you come in this main lobby, you'll see her artwork hanging up there. We have, just like we featured a Business of the Month, we have a Artist of the Month. We have a lot of artists, apparently. I didn't know that. We have a lot of talent in Irmo, and they're going to display their artwork in the town hall. And I'm sure, is this up for purchase too? Yeah, you can, if you really like something you see, you can take it home with you. But I want you to invite everybody at home that's live streaming to come by Town Hall, see these things in person. Again, everybody in the audience tonight, if y'all want to come by and look at it, we're available. Anything else? Presentation by citizens. Nobody here to talk to us about anything on the agenda? We'll move on forward. And the unfinished business we have, item 9A, second and final reading of ordinance 2206. Is there a motion for final reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Bill or Eric? No, you made the motion. Did you second?
Mr. Bush.
Oh, Mr. Bush. Also, you got me. Sorry. Thank you. Is there discussion?
Just to reinforce and to clarify, there are some directly impacted properties. Have we spoken, has the town administration's staff spoken to all the impacted properties?
Yeah. As far as I know, they did. Did they not?
We sent out, on this particular ordinance, Rodney, correct me if I'm wrong, 300 letters notifying the affected properties and properties around them of these cleanups. Just to kind of go back to our discussion last time, this is correcting some deficiencies within our zoning map. Most of them are what we refer to as combination properties or subdivided properties where they went through that process but didn't come to our zoning department to get appropriate zoning designations. So this is just cleaning up the map.
Any more discussion? Mr. Bush?
Just one quick one. Do you anticipate any further corrections, or do you think we're pretty close to?
This will take care of the bulk of it. We're still polishing it. Once we get it fully polished, it'll come in front of council for final approval.
Okay. Any more?
I did notice just something I didn't catch last time, which is that there is a new business that just opened, the firearms place. This doesn't change the designation doesn't change their ability to run their business, right? Okay.
No.
Any more comments? Okay, seeing none. Clerk, will you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Hey,
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. New business, item A, first reading of ordinance 2207. Again, this is zoning and land changes that we're going through. 2201, 2207. I'm sorry. Is there a motion for first reading?
so moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Danielson?
Again, this is a cleanup of language between our manuals and other zoning issues came up rather dramatically in the last 45, 60 days. So it makes sense to make sure we're consistent with the language.
Okay. Signature? Mr. Bush? Ms. Dr. Wallman?
I'm good.
Clerk, read the roll, please.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. First reading of ordinance 2208 is again cleaning up some landscaping changes and bolstering our submission requirements for landscaping in our town. Is there a motion for first reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is, I would defer, I don't know, an elm from a maple unless it's fallen on my car. So I tried to make a lot of sense of all these plants, but I would defer all of that to Mr. Klein, who's obviously done a good job. And I think one of the key things that we need to do is bolster our landscaping requirements. And this is a great step in that direction.
Okay, Mr. Bush?
I think it's worth taking note that we have somebody meticulous that's going through all these and trying to get them straightened out. So, yes, I'm in favor.
Gotcha. Dr. Wallman?
Yes, I think that this is a good way to enhance our landscaping requirements within the town.
Okay, and Mr. Sickinger?
Nothing to add?
Okay, you're not gonna require them to have crepe myrtles everywhere, are you? I mean, oh, not Bradford
Those two.
pears either, okay. All right, you gotta have okra planted in certain spots too? Is that required? No, I'm kidding. Will the clerk, will you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes, thank you. First reading of ordinance 2209. This is a temporary use in our fireworks stands. We have a change in our requirements, and I think you had a modification, amendment to make. All right, is there a motion for first reading?
So moved?
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Sickinger.
Yeah, I'm in favor of the amendment to the ordinance. I would like to move to amend the proposed text to add G, had to do my alphabet there for a second, to add G, so we have through F here, I'd like to add G, that, and I want to make sure the language is clear, but the stands and dispensaries shall provide a copy of the town fireworks rules with every purchase.
Yeah, like printed copy or have it
Yes.
posted?
Yeah. So the simple version is G, that the stand or dispensary shall provide a printed copy of the town fireworks ordinances
Okay,
with every purchase.
so that's a motion to amend to add a G as well as everything else you see there. Is there a motion, you made the motions, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and second. Any discussion on the motion?
I just want to clarify what we're trying to accomplish here. So every year, when people put off fireworks, people complain that people are doing them at wrong hours, wrong days. I am not naive enough to think that everyone is completely aware of the rule, is not aware of the rules, and they're doing it anyway. But if it's within our power to say, here's the leaflet, make sure that everybody that buys a fireworks from you knows they can't set it off at 3 a.m. on the 23rd of January. These are the times when you can do it. All it does is helps make sure that anyone that buys fireworks in the town knows what the rules are. And if it keeps one or two people sleeping at night, that works for me.
Okay. Any other discussion on it? Okay.
Yeah, I would just have a
Mr.
question. How
Bush?
onerous would this, first off, were there any, when you had posted this for 15 days, did you get any feedback from any of the? All right. And then the second one is, how onerous is it to, how many, what would that flyer entail? It wouldn't be like 3 pages with 16.
No, it's just our ordinance.
Yeah, just do a summary of what.
Our plan is to just print up a copy of the use of fireworks ordinance and have them posted at the point of sale.
Okay.
And it's not that extensive. It's half a page. We can blow it up and fill out a full page.
And you're recommending that they hand them out or have enough available?
Either needs to be on display or provided with every purchase. Yeah, as a leaflet, one or the other.
Okay, so either or. So if they
Yeah.
have it on display,
That
do
works
you
for
want to
me.
add a sign size? Because, I
Well,
think if you're.
I guess we could
not
say-
specific, They will be,
Yeah, it could be, if it's provided by the town, then it would be the town size.
okay.
Any more discussion on the amendment?
I have a brief question.
Yeah.
Thank you. I understand, and this is not about the amendment, but I know we're cutting from 30 days to 14 days. does that mean that the trailers have to be removed and they can't stay just closed?
Let me make sure I understand your question. Can the trailers stay longer than 14 days under this new proposal? No.
Well, that brings up a question now. If the guy's not open, his trailer can't be there setting up? I mean, that's what I'm understanding, I'm saying, right?
So that's correct. This would change the language from 30 days to 14 days. They would only be granted the temporary use to put these things up for 14 days.
I understand putting it up. I thought they could leave the trailer there but not open for 14 days prior. I mean, you can't. It takes time to bring those trailers out and set them up. You know, they do it if they got more than one to set up. They usually drop one off here and go to the next side, drop one off, but they won't open until 14 days prior.
Correct. And this is a discussion that Planning Commission took up as well.
Oh, okay.
They proposed the recommendation, and they were the ones that recommended the 14-day
Okay.
number. Obviously, it's up to council to decide on that. But
Okay. No worries. All right.
I'm still confused. Bear with me. On day 13, okay, if it's, all right, so day 14, they've placed the trailer in place. The day after the holiday, they have to remove, not just close. Or okay.
What this ordinance outlines is a temporary use permit allowing somebody to temporarily use that land for something that's typically not allowed. So we do not allow those types of freestanding sites within our town unless they obtain a temporary use permit. This would allow them to use that permit for a period of 14 days, at which time they could sell and dispense fireworks during that 14-day period. Does that help add clarity?
Did you just say after? Like, okay, on New Year's Day, after New Year's Day, they have to be gone the day after New Year's, not 14 days after New Year's.
Correct.
Okay.
2 days, I mean, like, I would be in favor of, once we take care of this amendment.
Yeah.
Just give them like a 48-hour buffer or something. Right. Reasonable time to remove the structure.
Okay. So this is the amendment. We're adding that item G. Is there any discussion about that? Any more discussion on item G? Seeing none, will the clerk read a roll on the amendment, please? This is the first reading on the amendment.
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yay.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, now we're back to the original ordinance. And do you want to make a motion to put that language in, or are we going to understand that to be the case?
I think we should.
I think we should add it.
I think it should be in writing, yeah. So I'll move to amend
Okay.
to add H.
A, B, C, D, G, H.
Yeah, I had to do that. No, I want to add an H. Because I want to give them the intent. I'll do that first. Is to give them 48 hours, non-operating hours, to close and vacate the premises, if you will. So we'll say, and we can clean it up on the second reading if we have to, but H, stands and dispensaries shall have up to 48 hours to remove their stand or dispensary.
Okay, so you made a motion for H. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been properly moved and second. Any more discussion on H's amendment? Seeing none, any more discussion on it? Will clerk read the roll on that amendment, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Okay, so now we have two amendments to the original amendment, G and H, and we'll have that on second reading. We'll have that all spelled out, okay? All right? Any more? I think we
Mayor
got
Walker,
that. I'm sorry.
I have a question.
I'm sorry. Go-
Actually, I have a question for Mr. Dennis. Other than New Year's Day or New Year's Eve and 4th of July, are there any other days when fireworks are allowed within the town?
Not within the town.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Seeing none, clerk read the roll on the amended ordinance. Thank you.
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Thank you. Ordinance 2210, again, planting materials lists, approve, establish, and this is from the Planning Commission, stand approved trees and planting materials for landscaping plans. Is there a motion for approval? First reading.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mrs. Sickinger. Any discussion?
I think I'm in favor.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know enough about trees to argue and shrubs to argue, so I will just agree with the experts.
Just as long as we don't outlaw okra is what counts, right? Mr. Danielson.
Again, I would defer to the expertise of our town staff, and that's good enough for me.
Arborists.
That's, yeah, I mean, this is way outside my league. If it's not on a golf course, I don't know what it is. So,
Okay. All right. Mr. Bush?
So does this apply to all zoning districts or just specific zoning districts?
This would apply to when landscaping plans are submitted to us, which could be in any district.
Okay.
So this would, just to add some clarity, this would come adjoining a zoning permit for a development, commercial development, mixed use. I mean, at some point when they submit a landscaping plan, we will use this as our guide for them to what plant materials could be used.
Thanks.
Mr. Dennis, so when those plans are submitted to the Planning Commission, will they actually designate which plants or trees will be planted in different areas?
That's a lot of times left up to the developer to where they will plant them. Part of the review process is that they submit a landscape plan, at which time, once they submit it to us for review, Whit Klein, Director Klein, and other staff reviews it, and most of the time we give them this list in advance, so they already know, but sometimes they just generate their own landscape plan and submit it, and then we'll mark it up for comments and refer back to this plant material list as what's acceptable. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
My question is, can we have what if they want to plant something that's not on this list? Not Bradford prayer trees, but something that's not on that list. Do we have the latitude to let them have it? Plant it? I don't know.
We do have some latitude.
I can't hear you, but can you?
We do.
Sorry.
The problem comes is when these big box stores from out of state do a landscaping plan, they get a landscape architect from New York State. He doesn't know what trees do grow good in South Carolina and what don't. So they're putting in great trees that grow really good in New York, but they don't grow in South Carolina because of our heat and humidity. So all the plants and trees on this list will grow here in the Irmo area. So that's why we did this.
Got it. Any other comments? What? Hemp is not on the list. Not yet. Okay. Is there No more comments. Will the clerk read a roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay, ordinance 2211. This is, again, cleaning up ordinances for when we did our hospitality tax. We didn't put a chapter number in there to have it. So when people go on Muni Code looking for the ordinance and what it says, there's no reference to a chapter. Is there a motion for first reading? I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Second. Okay, and again, this is just cleaning that up. We're gonna have, when you go to Muni Code now, you will have a chapter with our code for hospitality tax ordinance. Any other comments? Anybody else?
Mr. Mayor, if I can just.
I'm
point out
sorry, go ahead, Mr. Dennis. Yeah.
Typo in here that says local accommodates, it should say local accommodations, so we'll be making that typo correction
Okay,
on that.
got it. You'll have that for the next final reading? Okay. Anything else? Nobody else? Okay, clerk, will you read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay. Ordinance 2212 to annex a 1-acre tract on 33 Bush Hill Court, or Farming Creek, now formerly owned by Miss Georgia Bush. This property is contiguous. I'll make the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Dr. Wallman. All right, this property is on Bush Oaks Court, and I believe they want to come in as fringe agricultural, which means they want to have chickens and shoot guns on their property, and I guess we can allow that in fringe agricultural. And also, I believe Councilman Bush has a relationship with the person who lives at this property, so he's going to recuse himself from any discussion or voting on this. I've asked if we can come and get eggs and go practice guns, and he said he'd maybe work that out later on, but that's it. Dr. Wallman.
This annexation makes sense. This property is completely surrounded by the town of Irmo, so it just makes sense to incorporate it in and as fringe agricultural because that's the property that's all around it.
Bill Danielson.
Good.
Eric? Okay. Again, this is fringe agricultural. It's one of the few pieces in property in town that has the property that's zoned for farming, and I'm glad to have them in now. I don't know how we ever did that, how we ever annexed everything around them and not got that. But anyway, this is an opportunity for us to pick up some more agricultural property. And will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush.
No, Mr. Bush is recused.
That's right. Sorry. Mr. Danielson.
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman.
Yes.
And Mayor Walker.
Yes. It's first reading. We have second reading. Anybody want to fuss about that? You can call Mr. Bush. Item G, ordinance 2213. And this is the change of sentence in our fireworks ordinance to allow us to permit fireworks uses on certain days outside of the 2 days it's allowed. And I'll make a motion for first reading of that.
I'll second.
And the reason why, thank you, Dr. Wallman, and the reason why this year, the 4th of July is on Monday, and we're celebrating it on Sunday, the 3rd. And unfortunately, at our town event, we having a movie and a fireworks display. Well, we can't have fireworks on the 3rd on Sunday, but you can have it on Monday. So we wanted to have the ability to grant that request to people on special days. If it falls on the weekend like it is this year, and we wanted to have a firework display on the day before 4th of July or the day after 4th of July, we can do that. Same thing with New Year's Eve. If that falls on a Sunday or Monday, and we can have that. Dr. Wallman, did you have any comments about it?
The only thing I'd say is that this allows us to grant a fireworks permit to any kind of special event that a festival or some other activity that's going on in the town some day other than New Year's Eve or 4th of July.
Right. Mr. Bush? You got Mr. Sickinger? Mr. Danielson?
Yeah, I'm concerned about setting a precedent, and here we go for our own purposes, amending our ordinance that I think is fairly new, if I'm not mistaken. I'm just wondering if this is going to open a Pandora's box. I just worry about it. I don't have a problem with it, but I worry about, well, we're going to get a flood of special permits, and we're going to have to turn them down. Otherwise, people are going to start shooting us. So that's my only concern, Mr. Mayor.
I get it. And I think, and again, Mr. Courtney, our town administrator, has talked to me about it, and I think, I mean, this is only for a situation, in this particular case, when the holiday's on a Monday, and the precedence is that we're gonna celebrate it on Sunday. If you think we're gonna get a flood of people wanting to shoot fireworks off on Sunday, they might, but, okay. Any other comments?
Yeah,
Okay.
I kind
I'm
of,
sorry.
I kind of echo Councilman Danielson's concerns, and that is that the holidays on a weekday, I can assure you half the citizens are going to be having a party on Saturday and a barbecue and want to shoot fireworks. Are they all going to go to firework jail for that? Or is there a special dispensation when a holiday falls weird like that?
Right now, the code reads that fireworks are only allowed on 4th of July between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight, and December 31st between the hours of 7 p.m. and 1 a.m. on January 1st. That is the only times fireworks are allowed to be dispersed in the town limits of Irmo. This amendment to the code would allow a provision on special use permits and by the town of Irmo on events that we authorize. So a special use permit would be any types of festivals, carnivals. We issue those permits, like for the crawfish festival that's happening. We give them a special use permit. There's an application process where they've got to kind of outline what they're doing, and then we bring in the fire marshal, the police department, and other people to make sure it's not a disruption to public safety and traffic and things like that. So not anybody would qualify for a special use permit. It would have to fall into some of those categories where a special use permit would be required. Does that clear it up?
Clear as mud. I mean, my biggest concern is that the families are going to all have picnics on Saturday and want to shoot fireworks off, and I assume.
Family's gonna do that anyway. I mean,
I feel like we've been down the firework rabbit hole on this council like way before I got here, numbers of times. But I echo your concern as people are going to want to do them off on the weekend, and the law says they can't.
Well, and what's to stop the International Festival next year from asking for a permit to shoot fireworks off? As just an example, especially, I mean, it's floodgate. It's just the floodgate.
they can ask and we can deny it. I mean, you know, if we feel like it. I mean, again, this is just, if it's not contiguous to the holiday, I don't see why we would, you know. Any more discussion? Okay, will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush,
Yay.
Mr. Danielson,
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger,
Yes.
Dr. Waldman,
Yes.
and Mayor Walker.
Yes. Okay. Approval of ordinance 2201 to acquire property, resolution 2201 to acquire property within the town of Irmo. Mr. Danielson, you put that on the agenda. This property is about 2.8 acres, more or less, owned by a private party. Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Danielson, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Sickinger, okay. Mr. Danielson,
Yes, sir. We got 2.85 acres at the corner of Royal Tower and Broad River Road, backing up to, the first street there on the right. I can't get the name.
Charing Cross?
Charing Cross, thank you. And it's a substantial piece of property, 500 or 600 feet on Broad River Road. It's being gifted to us by a group of developers who have owned it for 15 or 20, maybe longer than that, and are tired of paying taxes on it. So I make the motion that we accept the gift. It'll probably be about, I don't know, maybe cost us $7,000 to $10,000 because we're going to pay the taxes for this year, pro rata share. I would defer to our attorney to sign. What's the update on this right now?
Yeah, we're not, what I understand is that we don't, if we acquire a property before the end of the tax year, October, we won't have to pay that. They're gonna forgive the taxes, so we're only have to pay closing costs, which is a couple $1,000, so.
Yes, sir, Mayor.
It is what
I
it
checked
is.
with Mr. Moore right after the meeting started, and he indicated that the title search is being done, and I confirmed with the Richland County Assessor's Office that as long as the town takes title to the property before October 1, the county will waive property taxes for 2022. So
Before October.
yes, sir.
Okay.
So we shouldn't have any problem getting that done before October 1st, and we'll just be paying the closing costs.
Okay. That's a bonus.
Yeah, so it's true, it's true gift, I mean, okay. Any other comments? Will the clerk read the roll, please?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. So this resolution has been approved. We don't have a second reading on it. That means you're gonna handle it, Will?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Thank you. And this is where that Friars Gate sign is for anybody's reference. When you're coming into the Friars Gate subdivision, old Friars Gate, where that big sign is, we're gonna now own that. So there's always been some question of who maintains that sign and stuff like that. Maybe a good project for the outreach, Irmo Outreach, to fix that sign up for us or help them. Any rate, last approval of the park and fine schedule fees. What we have displayed is our old one. No, this is our new one, right? This is our new parking fines. Did you realize that if you park illegally in Irmo, you get fined if you parked in a handicap? It's $500 to get if you get caught. And I know that, Chief, you writing tickets right and left, right? You're making sure that people don't park in the handicapped spots.
That's correct. Our patrol officers do regularly look for that when they're on patrol.
Fantastic. And fire lanes, $200. That's a substantial amount of money. And if you don't pay it, you get an additional $10. Is that $10 per day, or is it $10 flat? Can anybody tell me? That's flat? Okay. Got it. Anyway, we haven't updated these in, 100 years, so we're gonna update them now, and this is what the fees are gonna be. I'll make that motion to accept that, approve that.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion?
Don't park in a handicap parking space or block the road or park in a fire lane unless you have a handicap tag.
Well, you can't park in the
Well,
fire.
right.
Yeah,
But, sorry,
yeah,
don't do those things, and
Yeah,
you won't have to
awesome.
worry about it.
costs you big time. Mr. Bush?
I feel like we could have parlayed the fire hydrant up a little bit higher, but I can go with 200. It's good.
Dr. Wallman?
I think these fines are reasonable, and basically these are to be deterrents to make sure that people don't do these things. You don't park in a handicap space if you don't have a handicap placard, or you don't, block a fire lane, et cetera.
Okay, Mr. Bush, Mr. Danielson?
Yeah, I'm in favor. We make it clear, we post it, so that everybody, the citizens know exactly what the deal is. But yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay. All right, will the clerk read the roll?
Mr. Bush?
Yay.
Mr. Danielson?
Yes.
Mr. Sickinger?
Yes.
Dr. Waldman?
Yes.
And Mayor Walker?
Yes. Fantastic, we made it. Under an hour. Yeah, that's right. This is the point of the meeting where we have the opportunity to hear from citizens. People who have signed up on the list, we'll start with that. Anybody else who didn't sign the list and want to talk, I'll call you up afterwards. First on the list, we have Mr. Wade Deloach. You want to come and let us know something, Mr. Deloach?
Hello, Mayor and Council. I just want to give you a little update from Irmo Outreach. I want to thank you for your support. We did refurbish the sign at Fox Run tomorrow evening. Michael Kane has done a carving of a fox that we're going to apply to that. That's why I put a light above it to enhance his carving that we're going to put on there tomorrow. And we'd be proud to do that new entrance that you guys were talking about a while ago. Be glad to do that. We got April 30th, we have a house in Old Friars Gate, an elderly gentleman we're going to try to work on, and we'll be putting that in the Irmo News. Any volunteers want to come out to help? We got another house over close to Publix we're going to do after that. I got to go over there and get some more information on it. We're also looking at a handicap ramp for an elderly couple. This lady, she just had her leg amputated, and she doesn't have any money. We're going to put a handicap ramp in there for her this Saturday. So we're busy doing things. We got a new trailer, some equipment. We're going to be showing it off. We're looking for sponsors. You can put your sign on the side of it. We already got 3. I think you'll be happy to see it. We're going to parade this trailer all over town, so everybody will see it real soon. Again, thank you for your support.
Well, thank you, Mr. Deloach, and the Irmo Outreach Committee. We appreciate you doing what you do in the town. Thank you. Anybody else? I think we all concur that we are just immensely proud of that. Miss Kay Baez. Hey. I'm sorry. Kay, come on up and talk to us.
I just have a couple remarks to make. First, thank you. My name's Kay Brown, and I live in Hamilton Park. I don't know how many of you have noticed Columbia Avenue after Dominion came in and butchered the shrubbery and trees and cut them down and halfway cleaned up. Have any of y'all ridden down there?
Columbia Avenue?
Columbia Avenue from College. Where you turn on College, going toward the mall. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, Dominion came in and butchered what shrubbery was there, which were grossly overgrown, and they still are overgrown, but they halfway did it. It looks horrible. The vines are all dying that they cut off at the bottom. They cut trees 20 feet up, and I'm thinking that a pine tree is going to grow up from that. It will not. They needed to cut. I don't know why they just didn't cut them from the ground. So now you just have this pole. But do wish that someone from the town would go out there and look at it and at least try to help clean up. It's awful looking.
Wasn't that the people from the utility company doing that?
Dominion, yeah.
Yeah.
Dominion Electric
Yeah,
contractors, whoever, the asphalt, is it asphalt or something?
yeah, Asphalt, yeah.
I mean, you just right down there, even in the front of the Harbison parking lot, they just took the top out of these
Yeah,
cedar trees, and they're never gonna come back.
I
They
noticed
don't
that.
do that. So obviously you haven't had any conversations, but I do wish somebody would go out there and at least try to clean up or cut back that shrubbery better than it's done.
Got it.
And, the other thing is, did we not rent or were renting some kind of sidewalk and street cleaning machine at one time?
Yes, we do.
Well, do they clean the sidewalks too? That sidewalk.
Sidewalks, I don't know, the streets it does.
Well, the town of, it's the town's sidewalk, they put it in, going down Columbia Avenue. It's full of pine needles, pine cones, it's slippery if you try to walk on it and it's wet. Somebody's gonna get really hurt. I don't know why they can't blow it off every so often.
Harbison should blow it off. And I can get them to look into that for you.
You know, ask Harbison that, and they say, well, that's the town of Irmo. I don't
Okay,
know. You know,
I'll take care of
you
it.
know they've got a new director over there now.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's just, I
All
don't
right.
know why they don't clean it up on a regular basis.
They were out there yesterday cleaning up Archer's Lane. I saw them out there doing that, so.
Okay, well.
Okay,
I just really do wish y'all would take some attention to that shrubbery and the way those Elaeagnuses are nothing but stalks. And then sometimes they didn't even get the big vines that come off of those Elaeagnuses
I got you.
shrubbery. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. John Davis, did you want to say something? Mr. John Davis.
All right, so I have not really prepared a speech or anything like that. I've decided that I'm going to run for South Carolina State House, which is District 85. Chip Huggins.
Talk to us.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is my first time in any of these meetings like this. Kind of new to politics, and really, like, I just saw some issues at the state level that I disagreed with, and I figured I would, I don't know, maybe some people might like to have a different say in some of the important issues that affect us.
Good. Well, congratulations on running. Thank you. I think most of the people up here, except for me, are new at politics, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job. So,
I appreciate you inviting me out here because this was very eye-opening. It's the first time I've ever really, paid attention to this, and
good.
It's super interesting.
Cool. Yeah, on a good day.
I've heard that, and I think I'm up for the challenge. So,
Fantastic. Congratulations. Hey, anybody else want to talk to town council that didn't sign up? Nobody else wants to talk to us? Somebody from that? No? Oh, here we go. One person coming up. Who's that masked man? Oh, Mr. Frazier. How you doing, Mr. Frazier?
How you doing? Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is George Frazier. For those who don't know me, I'm the newly chairman of the events committee for the town of Irmo. So I'm just here just showing my face in support of the town of Irmo and just letting you guys know that the events committee are planning some real good things for the town of Irmo. So just be on the lookout on some real good things to come from the events committee.
Thank you. Wow, that's great. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Seeing none, I'd like to add this one statement. And this is the motto that I like to follow from town hall to everybody watching tonight, everybody in the audience tonight. And this is something you can take home to the bank. And this is the motto: no one should ever leave town hall feeling defeated. There's always something that we can do and can be done to help. That's our motto. That's my personal motto. And I want to know that, Ms. Kay, I will look in to see what we can do to help you with the issues you brought up tonight. Thank you very much. There's no discussion. There's no executive session. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
Second. All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Hey. I was telling Matthew, I was like, I don't know, I could be home at 8:15, I could be home at like 9:30, I don't know.